Peace and blessings, family. Peace and blessings. Y'all come on in, come on in. Come on in, come on in. Let's get started with day 2 of the Fruit and Salad Challenge. And let's get into our ebook. That way we can continue to understand the vitamins and minerals that are essential when it comes down to regulating blood pressure and continue moving along in our journey to gain better control of our blood pressure without the need for pharmaceutical medication. So you guys come on in, come on in. I'm looking forward to definitely getting started with tonight's class. First thing I want to do is definitely, I want to thank everybody that's participating. Again, today was another great day of active participants posting their pictures of the foods that they're consuming, posting their blood pressure, posting themselves, writing in their journals, all the things that are needed to create consistency. People were actively participating and putting those things out there. So hats off to each and every one of you that are doing these things. This is how you build a foundation for moving forward with lifestyle changes. So keep up the great work. I'm loving all the vibrant fruit pictures that I'm seeing. The salads look amazing. Everyone that's making their own salad dressing, this is step 1, and these are by far some of the best engagement photos that I've seen. So hats off to each and every one of you guys. I think you're doing a very, very good job. But the name of the game is consistency. Because one thing about it, after these 7 days, you guys should continue with these same habits. Don't necessarily have to post it in a group anymore, but keep up with the same habits of making those salads, eating those fresh fruits, and applying these whole foods to your diet. So right now, I got my my tablet out right now, and I also pulled up the 7-Day Fruit and Salad Challenge ebooks. So if those of you that are following along, you have a second device and you're able to pull up the ebook, I'm going right into the calcium section, and that's going to be the next mineral that we're going to be breaking down to get better understanding of the role that it plays in the body and understand why it's so important to when it comes down to regulating blood pressure. Yesterday we talked about magnesium, and I believe the Friday before we talked about potassium. We went through all those different pathways of how these vitamins and minerals, how these minerals work. And you know, we came away with a good understanding of why we should be consuming more of these foods. Because one thing about it, with a lot of people dealing with the blood pressure issues, you have to rebuild those nutrient storages to allow the body to function in the manner that it needs to regulate blood pressure without the need of pharmaceutical medication. Because ultimately the goal is to get off of the drugs, but you have to build your body up to be able to do so. So we're going to be talking about calcium today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I'll get to the questions as soon as we get to the to that section of this class. And basically, I'm just going to dive right into it. We're going to read through the ebook that you guys have. For those of you know where to find it. It's in the email after you signed up. You got the email sent out to you, and you should have direct access to all this information as well. So I'm going to dive right into the calcium section. I'm going to read what I have here, and I'm going to work our way through this. And again, anytime you guys have any questions, drop them down inside of the chat, and I get to them as soon as I finish up here. So, calcium, an essential mineral primarily associated with bone health, also plays a role in regulation of blood pressure. While the connection between calcium and high blood pressure is complex, here's an overview of how calcium influences blood pressure levels. Number 1 is going to be blood vessels constriction. Calcium is involved in muscle contractions, including the muscles that line blood vessels. Inadequate calcium levels can lead to an increased constriction of blood vessels, resulting in a higher blood pressure. So that's pretty much self-explanatory. The calcium is involved in the constriction of the blood vessels, and what happens is when the calcium is low throughout the body, these blood vessels, they just tighten up, and they're not loosening up. They just continue to stay constricted, and this narrows the arteries. And with the narrowing of the arteries, the heart just has to continue to pump harder to pump the blood through the cardiovascular system. And we understood the relationship between magnesium and potassium with allowing the blood vessels to soften up and be more elastic. But when the calcium is low, they just become so stiff and tight where the heart just pumps so hard, and that elasticity is not going to be there because it's just so stiff. I don't think I have anything to compare it to, but The main thing is it should be a lot looser. Without the calcium inside of your body, the body isn't able to perform this particular action, and as a result, the blood pressure continues to rise, and it's just going to continue to be elevated until something happens. And we'll get into that actual something in a few. Number 2 is going to be blood clotting. Calcium is necessary for proper blood clotting. However, excessive calcium levels can contribute to the formation of blood clots, which can narrow blood vessels and elevate blood pressure. Number 3, calcium and vitamin D interaction. Vitamin D helps the body absorb and utilize calcium efficiently. Insufficient vitamin D levels can lead to decreased calcium absorption, potentially impacting blood pressure regulations. Now, what happens here is this is where some of the connection between the other vitamins and minerals start to continue to come into play together, because again, vitamin D and calcium, they work together similarly to how potassium and sodium work together. So even if you are getting enough calcium through your natural sources, but you have a vitamin D deficiency, this can be a trigger that's causing the blood pressure to continuously stay elevated. And that's why it's important to focus on your lifestyle as a whole. That way you could dot every I, cross every T to make sure that you're doing everything within your power to gain control over the blood pressure issue. So if you have a calcium deficiency and you're only focusing on calcium, you're trying to take supplements for this is not the answer to this particular problem or any problem that you may be having, because there's other things, other components that need to be clicking at the same time. Because if that vitamin D isn't present in the levels that are needed for the body to function properly, it's always going to be off somewhere. It's not going to be clicking the way that it needs to. You're going to find yourself running into issues, and that blood pressure is going to be affected along with other issues throughout the body, because again, calcium isn't just involved in the blood pressure regulation, it's involved in other areas as well. So it's very, very important that we understand that, having appropriate calcium levels along with the other minerals that are essential for blood pressure and overall health is very important. And that vitamin D connection is very important as well, because again, vitamin D is directly related, a vitamin D deficiency is directly related to high blood pressure, not only through the calcium pathway, but through several other pathways. And this is the power of the sun itself, getting outside, letting those UV rays hit that skin and ignite that nitric oxide to allow for the blood vessels to dilate, along with the other hundreds of chemical reactions that happens during this process. Because as soon as that sun hits that skin, you start to feel that warmth. And that warmth that you're feeling, that skin heating up, that's a chemical reaction that's giving your body the things that it needs. That those ultraviolet rays are being converted and utilized in many different ways. So understanding that, taking care of your health and focusing on your lifestyle as a whole is going to be the best direction to go when it comes down to correcting these type of issues. Number 4, hormonal balance. Calcium plays a role in hormone secretion and balance, including hormones involved in blood pressure regulation. Imbalances in these hormones can influence blood pressure levels. While calcium is essential for overall health, it's important to note that high calcium intake from supplements may not have the same beneficial effects of blood pressure as obtaining calcium from dietary sources. In fact, excessive calcium supplementation can even have adverse effects on cardiovascular health. Now, what that means is basically when you're taking, let's say you're taking calcium supplements, I'm not even sure exactly what milligrams they're coming in now, but if you're taking calcium supplements, you're essentially giving your body an excessive amount of calcium at any given time, and any other mineral that you may be supplementing. You're giving your body an excessive amount. And what happens is when that comes into your system, there's no way to tell how much calcium, how much potassium, how much of any specific mineral that your body needs. There's no way to tell this. And what happens is when you have this abundance of calcium just coming in from a supplement, you're not getting anything else that goes with it. You're not getting any fiber, you're not getting any water, you're not getting any other vitamins and minerals to help it properly assimilate and for the body to use it. So now all this calcium is coming in, and your body's just sitting there like, well, what do I do with all this extra right here? And now this triggers an excessive, this triggers your body to eliminate this excessive amount of calcium, whether it's through the urine or through other pathways and things like that. And what happens is when it comes down to elimination, this is a factor of energy out and energy in. And when it comes down to energy out, energy in, you want to have enough energy stored up to do all the things that you need to do for as far as your regular bodily functions, for the thing to get through your day, through all those things. But if you're someone that's dealing with a chronic issue, there's an imbalance that's there. And when you're consuming these supplements, this causes your body to waste extra energy just to get rid of the excess that it doesn't need. So understanding that supplementation can continuously, if you overdo supplementation, this can potentially cause another problem. So that's why it's more important to give the body the calcium that it needs in the right form and let it properly assimilate and utilize it the way that it's supposed to. And then if you're dealing with the elimination issue, this in turn leads to, just too much calcium in the body and the other effects that we spoke about, like the hormonal imbalances and things like that, that can trigger all these other things. So it's important that we just follow the right pathway, just eating the right foods and allowing our body to do the work for itself. Your body is built to function a certain way. But when you start taking these shortcuts or, taking these man-made supplements and trying to find an alternative route, you bring forth complications, and your body has to make the adjustments to eliminate the extra. And this is taxing in many different ways, because you may start out okay where your body just gets rid of it and you don't feel any effect. But eventually, if this keeps happening, the body will get wore down. And once the body starts to get wore down, complication with elimination starts to occur. Constipation and all these other things just starts to build up, and now your body is forced to hold on to these excessive amount of minerals and these excessive amount of toxins, and now your body is in a state of toxemia, and now disease is basically manifesting and waiting to express itself in whatever way that it sees fit. So we have to understand that, you want to go through natural causes or a natural route, and just simply eating whole foods is going to provide you with an abundance of these minerals. And this is going to allow your body to do what it needs, because again, when you eat the whole foods, you get the fiber, you get the water, you get the vitamins, you get the minerals, you get the enzymes, you get the whole complete package. And that's what it's all about, because when you consume that package, it goes everywhere, dispersed everywhere throughout the body to where it needs to be. And it's going to help build your levels up to where it needs to be. And anything that's in excess, it gets stored properly or simply eliminated. But you don't want to overdo or take supplements, because you're just simply overdosing your body on a nutrient that you don't necessarily know how much you need. And that's where taking supplements gets real cloudy and real gray. And it basically gets complicated. So we want to make sure that we're understanding that, even though supplementation may be helpful for some people, this is not a route that we want to go. This is not a crutch that we want to use, because again, when you're taking these supplements, it keeps you away from eating the whole food that's beneficial for the body as a whole. Beneficial for the body as a whole. So keep moving forward. And again, any questions, feel free to drop it in the chat, and we'll keep going in the right direction. Let's see, what was I? To maintain healthy blood pressure levels, it's generally recommended to obtain calcium from dietary sources rather than relying solely on supplements. I think I just said that one. Low calcium levels can have several effects on the body. While the direct connection between low calcium and high blood pressure is not well established, here are some potential side effects of low calcium levels that may indirectly impact blood pressure levels. Number one is going to be muscle problems. Calcium is crucial for muscle contraction and relaxation. That's one of the first things that we spoke about. Inadequate calcium levels can lead to muscle cramps, spasms, and weaknesses, which may indirectly affect blood pressure regulation. So understanding that, these are all things that are tied into it. So if you're someone that's having muscle cramps and spasms and things like that, you know, this is one of those dots you could just pinpoint for yourself to help you understand, like, okay, this can be tied into this type of deficiency. So actively working to improve this is going to be something that's on your to-do list. Number 2, nerve function. Calcium is essential for proper nerve functions and transmission. Low calcium levels can contribute to tingling or numbness in the extremities, as well as irritability, mood changes, and even seizures in severe cases. So when it comes down to your nerve functions throughout your whole body, calcium is directly related to these things. So, you know, understanding that this is not just an isolated thing. It's not just, you know, drink your milk and get strong bones and all that stuff like that. You know, calcium, it goes through every channel throughout your body. So understanding that this is a bigger picture than just your blood pressure. Even though it's directly related into the blood pressure factor, this is all about your health as a whole. And when you focus on your health as a whole, this allows for you to build your body up and allow it to do the things that it needs to do at its highest level. Osteoporosis. Calcium is primarily associated with bone health. Inadequate calcium levels can lead to decreased bone density and an increased risk of osteoporosis. While osteoporosis itself may not directly impact blood pressure, it can affect overall health and potentially contribute to other health conditions. Hormonal imbalances. Calcium is involved in hormone secretion and regulation. Low calcium levels may disrupt the balance of hormones involved in blood pressure regulation, potentially affecting blood pressure control. It's important to note that the relationship between calcium, I think I went over that again. So the next up is going to be basically where you can get calcium from, because there's a lot of misinformation about calcium, specifically speaking about, well, I'm not even going to get into that. We're going to talk about the positive aspect of it. So here's a list of calcium-rich foods categorized in fruits, vegetables, and nuts and seeds that you can consistently consume. That's going to allow you to get the abundance of calcium along with the other vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that your body needs to regulate these issues altogether. So high on the list is going to be oranges, figs, blackberries, rhubarb, apricots, kiwis, and prunes. Those are all very, very high in calcium, along with potassium and magnesium as well. If you notice, if you went through the different lists on this 7-day fruit and salad challenge, you would notice that I had a lot of the same fruits in the same, let me rephrase that. You would notice that there was a lot of the fruits, it was the same fruits in the different categories for potassium, magnesium, calcium, and things like that. You'll see the same fruit listed several times. And that basically means these fruits are high in potassium, magnesium, calcium, and all the things that you need. So this is something that you should be consuming more of, because it has an abundance of everything. And that's with most fruits. Even if the ones that are not on this particular list, most fruits are going to be high in potassium, high in magnesium, high in calcium, and all these different things, some more than others, but you're going to find them in abundance through many different fruits. So don't feel bad if you didn't get the specific fruits on this list, because they're still going to be in abundance and rich in these different fruits. Because the main thing, you're going to get the different nutrients, you're going to get the antioxidants, you're going to get all those things that are going to be very beneficial for your overall health. And again, I keep saying the overall health things, because again, it's bigger than just your blood pressure. This is a lifestyle change that's going to be this is a lifestyle change that's going to have an impact on your overall health. Blood pressure issues is just a lifestyle issue. You correct the lifestyle, you improve your overall health, the blood pressure issue just walks right out of the door. So for fruits high in calcium, it's going to be oranges, figs, blackberry, rhubarbs, apricot, kiwis, and prunes. For vegetables high in calcium, spinach is on the list, kale, broccoli, bok choy, collard greens, turnip greens, okras, and butternut squash. Spinach and kale, those are two that are high on the list. And if you look into the potassium and magnesium section, spinach and kale are right on that same thing, along with the Swiss chard. And I've spoke about this several times, is that when we're building our salads, you want to make sure those power greens are going to be at the bottom. The Swiss chard, the arugula, the spinach, and the kale, that's going to give you an abundance of all those nutrients in one shot. And you're going to start to see and feel the difference, most mainly in your energy levels, your natural elimination efforts, and most importantly, when you're taking those blood pressure readings, because this process doesn't take a long time. You're not going to be waiting 3 months to see some change happen, or waiting, all this time to see what's going to occur. This happened in 2-3 days. Some people have already seen the difference in their blood pressure already by just following these guidelines, reducing their sodium intakes, and just adding more fresh fruits to your dietary habits. This is just a tip of the iceberg of things that you can do to get control. Matter of fact, if anyone's in the challenge right now and you've already started to feel and see a difference in some of the things that you're doing with adding the fruits and the salads to your diet, put a 1 inside of the chat. That way, we all can see what type of alignment that we're in with these changes, because we're seeing the blood pressure pictures come up. We're seeing the I have more energies quotes that are coming up. We're seeing the people that are actually enjoying this process and seeing the difference. So now it's just understanding that, this is just a way of life. How many people actually can see themselves like, yeah, I can eat fresh fruit every morning. I actually like this. I had more energy. I was a lot sharper throughout the day. All those basic things. This is just a part of the process that's gonna allow you to continue to gain better control, gain a better understanding, and get that blood pressure down so you can get off of the pharmaceutical medications. Next one, nuts and seeds high in calcium, almonds, sesame seeds, chia seeds, flax seeds, Brazil nuts, and pistachios. Now, usually I always mention that the seeds should be raw and unsalted to get the highest levels of vitamins and minerals and everything from it. Pistachios are one nut that is particularly roasted most of the time. If it's roasted, it's not the worst thing, but make sure there's no salt, none of those added spices that they put on it to make it taste a certain type of way and things like that. You want to keep it as natural as it is in nature as possible to get the best benefits from it. So understanding that you don't want all these different seasonings and all the different added sodium and things to it, because that's going to go against the grain of what you're trying to do. And a lot of people have been doing a great job of having a nice small bowl of nuts to go with their salad and things like that. That's right in perfect alignment. I couldn't have said it or done it any better myself, just having it with it. And some people have even been putting the nuts and things on top of their salad, and that's great too. It works out just fine. The main thing is getting them in your system, because they're going to give you an abundance of potassium, magnesium, calcium, zinc, all those different things, and they all work in alignment with helping regulate your blood pressure and improving those nutritional storages that's going to give you that overall benefit that you're actually looking for. So individual calcium requirements can vary, and it's advisable to consult with a healthcare professional for professional guidance on calcium intake and its importance for overall health. So if any questions are in, go ahead and drop them now, and I'm going to just keep going and just talk about a few other things. Oh, matter of fact, before I even forget. So what I did today, I released these shirts right here, the Healthy Eating Active Living shirt. It's like a HEAL acronym that I have, Healthy Eating Active Living. I released them today, and I greatly appreciate everyone that just showed up and supported and purchased a t-shirt to just help me continue to produce content and provide classes like this, to just pour out this valuable information to each and every one of you so you can learn how to utilize it and just take better care of this situation and not let it manifest into a bigger problem. So the Healthy Eating Active Living t-shirts, they're $24.99. I got it listed in my link right here. You should see it say one link or one feature somewhere on there. I'm pretty sure it's somewhere up there. But I appreciate everyone that purchased the shirt. It's definitely going to a great cause. I got a really, really big project coming up, and it's dedicated to each and every one of you guys. So, the support is it's coming right back at you. So I greatly appreciate everyone that made a purchase. I'm working on this big project. I'm not going to go too deep into details, because I like to have stuff done before I start to talk about it, because it's just me, but I do appreciate everyone. So if you're interested in actually purchase a Healthy Eating Active Living t-shirt, We have two different variations of them, two different logos. They're all black. You can just click this link right here, or just go inside of the group. You'll see the post You'll see the post in there as well. That way you can actually purchase a t-shirt, continue to support this page, and allow for us to just continue to grow together and just pour into each other and just nurture this community as a whole. Yeah, but thank you to everyone that just showed up and purchased a shirt. So I'm ready to take any questions, and it seems like just like last time, the questions just take forever to actually pop up in my chat, and I don't see them there. And I'm sure we do have we have questions coming in. I see a few of them right there. So I see Miss Susan Henderson and Alita Concepcion all saying that, number one, they've seen results from adding more fruits and more salads to their diet, and it's only been 2 or 3 days. So, again, this is where most people issue lies at. This is like this nutrient deficiency is a big part of it. And one thing about it is you don't necessarily have to go and get all these tests done to correct this type of problem, but the tests that you can request to help you better understand and better target these things, they're there to assist you. But simply making the dietary changes and consuming these nutrients, it's going to give you an abundance of all of them. So if there's any deficiency going on, you're going to solve that problem by default by simply eating more whole foods, So understanding that, the tests are great to just give you a better understanding and get in alignment with your doctor and work towards getting it down, especially if you're someone that has a stubborn blood pressure issue, and if, you might not get any direct results from this stage in the challenges that we're doing. But it's always going to, eating more whole foods is always going to be the root, the solution to, just moving forward with blood pressure challenges. So Miss Susan and Miss Alita, I hope I said your name right. I'm pretty sure I did. I definitely want to congratulate you guys for the benefits and sticking with the challenge. So definitely, I appreciate you guys. Keep moving forward, and we're going to keep getting results together. And one thing that we have to understand is that you're going to see results. Don't get complacent. Don't get happy with what you're seeing, because as soon as you get off of it, it can go right back to where it was. So you want to make sure you stay consistent and allow for this to become part of your lifestyle, and then monitor and make the necessary adjustments as you move forward. Now, you might miss a day here and there and things like that. That's fine, but stay consistent. Keep walking the walk and doing what you need to do, and allow for your body to build this nutritional storages up so that, you don't have to even think about what you're eating or different minerals and things like that. Excuse me. Good evening to you all watching from the British Virgin Islands. Hey, Yolanda, how's everything? Glad to have you tuned in. Is sweet potato considered a vegetable? Yeah, sweet potatoes are a vegetable. It's a starch. It's one of those things that's very high in potassium as well. Some circles have different views about sweet potatoes. My only view about sweet potatoes is basically how you cook it and how you prepare it. When you cook sweet potatoes in the oven, we probably notice that it gets all sticky and sweeter, and all the sugar start to ooze out of it. That increases its level of that increases how it's digested. That impacts how it's digested and how it affects your overall blood sugar levels. So if you're someone that's dealing with blood sugar issues, baking sweet potatoes is not going to be the best option for you. Boiling them boiling them is always going to be better, or finding alternative measures is going to be the best approach. But baking them is going to go against, the grain when it comes down to managing your blood sugar levels, because it's going to give you a higher spike than you actually want. And, dealing with blood sugar, you want to make sure that you're on the right page and have better control. But that sweet potato is something that's high in potassium. It's going to be very beneficial. But anyone dealing with sugar issues should be mindful of how they're cooking it to prevent those different things. Kellen, is corn on the cob considered a whole food as long as it's just boiled? Yeah, it's a whole food item, because again, when it comes down to whole foods, you want to make sure that it's closest to how it is in nature. So, corn is one of those things that, just be specific about how you get it. I personally prefer if I get corn, I get it organic and on the stalk still. I usually get it from this place in this market, further by my house, and it's really unique to, it's a lot different than just the standard corn that you're getting out of the grocery store. So I always say just make sure you get an organic version just to weed out the GMO products and things that are there, but it's still a whole item. Even if it's even if it has the kernels taken away from it, it's minimally processed, but it's still going to be a whole food item that can be very, very beneficial for you. Main thing is, if you're getting it already processed and broken down, just make sure that it doesn't have the added sodium and all the other chemicals and things that they put in it to stabilize it on the shelf. It's always going to be best to buy it inside of the husk, I believe. Yeah, it's going to inside of the husk, all covered up, and organic if possible, just to make sure it's not one of those genetically processed things. Does GMO have benefits? Yeah, GMO foods does have benefits, but it's always best to avoid those things because we can't say what's actually going on or what's going to happen when our body continuously have these things, because GMO is fairly a new thing that we're consuming. But when you understand that the body doesn't use these different, the body doesn't function properly off of these different compounds that we're consuming, and it forces our body to have to eliminate more toxins. This goes against what we're trying to do, because again, health and healing is all about energy stored, being able to have the right amount of energy to utilize to excrete anything that we don't necessarily need. And what happens is when people fall ill or start to get sick with either, with the chronic disease or, just an acute illness, this basically means that your body has become so toxic that, it didn't have the necessary energy that it needed to eliminate the toxins that was there. And that's what sickness basically is in a nutshell. You're very toxic. Your body doesn't have the energy. So you become sluggish and tired and weak until the body is able to slowly eliminate all those excess toxins and bring you back to a level where you can function better and continue to move forward. So as long as the body's toxic and dealing with this state of toxemia, your body is going to be under the weather, and it's going to contribute to other issues. But my main thing is, GMO can have some benefits. It does have nutrients and things in there, but it's best to avoid them as much as possible, because when it comes down to it, it's all about being in better alignment to allow your body to heal without the extra baggage that comes with GMO foods and things like that. Next one. Adina, I feel lighter and my appetite is controlled. I eat sweet potatoes as well, avocados, and a green salad. Yeah, definitely. When you're eating these fresh fruits and vegetables, it's less of an impact on your digestive system, because these fruits and vegetables, they only in your system anywhere between 25 minutes to 45 minutes, depending on exactly what it is. And that basically means less energy focused on digestion. Because think of this, you eat pancakes and sausages and all these heavy things in the morning, they could take anywhere between 4 and 8 hours to digest. So that's constant energy going into your digestive system, working on getting this food out of the stomach, through the alimentary canal, absorbing whatever nutrients that it has and pushing it out. That's constant energy to do that. Whereas the fruits and the vegetables, 20, 30 minutes, everything's out and broken down, and it's shipping it through. And now that your stomach is empty, the nutrients are floating around in the body, going and being assimilated to where they need. You feel yourself being more lighter, more energized. Your blood sugar levels are up and stable. And now your body has the tools that it needs to function at its highest level. So yes, that's what feeling lighter is going to be. Having a more control over your appetite is going to be there, because one thing about the appetite is this. It's not necessarily that you need calories or need food. You need nutrients. You need more nutrients for your body. When you're having cravings and you're hungry, your body's not craving calories. It's craving nutrients. Give it some nutrients that is going to fill it and do what it and provide it with everything that it needs. So having fresh fruits and vegetables, it's going to give you the highest level of nutrients. Your body's going to optimize them and work at its highest level because you're giving it the best version of the things that it needs. And now you feel your body start to transition into, that lighter, more healthier, quicker state. And also the improvement in digestion, because I can definitely guarantee that some of us that have started partaking in this challenge, we're going to the bathroom. Like, it's as simple as that, because when that fiber gets into that digestive system, it's pushing everything out with the old, in with the new, and it's cleansing and it's pulling this fecal matter that's built up and dehydrated inside there. It's pulling it all out. The excess cholesterol that's backed up in there, it's pulling it all out, and it's cleaning out of the system. So I'm sure we're having some good poops. We're dropping it, and we're having more comfort in these areas. And if you're not, just continue the pace and continue with the pace that you're going, and your body is going to tap in and adjust. It's just a matter of allowing the body to build up its natural energies to properly go through these channels and go through it. Next one, what we got? Here we go. Is there a list of when fruits are in season? Maybe I missed it. I did not create a list for when fruits are in season, mainly because I don't have one. So I guess I could create one and put it inside of the group. And it's a lot of different variations that go with that, because it depends on where you are in the country and things like that. So I can get a broad general list and just throw it up inside of the group. It won't take long to do that, but it all varies on where you're at, where you're from, and basically just, those type of things. So I don't have one up yet, but I think I can assist you guys with that one. When sunning, how do I protect my skin? When sunbathing, I'm sure that was what it is. How do I protect my skin from burning but still get the benefits? Great question, Miss Rhonda James. So sunbathing is all about timing, because if you go out there at the wrong time, you can potentially overexpose yourself to the sun, especially if you're not used to it. So timing is everything. So you don't necessarily have to protect yourself with any type of sunscreen or any type of specific clothing or things like that. It's all about getting out there at the right time. So the ideal hours are going to be sunrise to about 10, 11 o'clock, because between sunrise to about 10, 11 o'clock, the sun is not yet at its peak, and it's still coming up and it's nice and strong, but it's not scorching and penetrating and just hammering down just as yet. So between sunrise and 10, sunrise and 10:30, 11, 10:30, 11, I could definitely say it's starting to really, really get there. So be mindful of that. But between sunrise and 10, 10:30 in that time frame like that, it's going to be the best time to go out there and expose yourself for at least 15 to 30 minutes or so, to allow for the sunlight, the UV rays to penetrate your skin, and you're gonna be able to feel it and actually feel the activation. But the main thing is, you want to make sure that you're not just giving yourself too much exposure on one side. For instance, one of my techniques is basically being exposed, allowing my front to be exposed, and then halfway through the process, I just roll over, allow my back to be exposed. You expose every part of the body that you can, front and back, and that way the different areas just allowed to get the vitamin D that it needs and absorb and get the sunlight that it needs to convert it to vitamin D and stimulate the body as a whole. So making sure that you're out there between the hours of 7 and 10:30, 11-ish, it's going to be great. Now, if you're someone that has to work and you can't get out there during that time frame, the next best time is going to be between like 3 or 4 o'clock and sunset, because the sun is now going down, and instead of being at its highest again, it's starting to curve and come down. And even though the UV rays are still nice and strong, they're not as powerful like it would be between that 12 and 3 o'clock time frame, when the sun is right in the center of the sky, just hammering down. So being mindful that when it comes down to sunbathing, making sure that you're following those specific guidelines, being aware of your body, staying hydrated while you're out there. Those are all going to be some really, really key points, but it's a natural thing that you can do. It's really, really basic. It takes minimum effort, but it does take some consistency, because you want to make sure that you're out there as much as you can. If you can do it every day, that's great. If you do it 2-3 times a week, that's great as well. Just build on it. And you don't necessarily just have to lay out in the sun. Find you some type of activity to do. I think Mr. Farrow was mowing his lawn and getting sun today. He posted a great picture of the energy that he had, where he was able to get his front and his back lawn done today. And, you know, that was a great testament, you know, things like that. Just saying like, hey, I had so much energy. I did the front and the back, and I still have plenty more to go. And he mentioned that he was able to get some sun by just doing those types of things. So if you don't want to just sunbathe and lay out there, find an activity that you could do. Find some minimalist clothing to wear, and that'd be very, very helpful, because usually when I'm out and about, I have a nice undershirt on and some short shorts just like I have right here, and I try to allow myself to be free and as exposed as possible, because that sun is going to be one of the best healing tools that you have when it comes down to not only just correcting vitamin D levels, but improving your overall health. Let's keep moving forward. I'm doing a challenge. You are so right about the supplements. Just trust the natural system is the best way. Finally got some good doctors. I'll be 69, and the only wrong thing is my blood pressure due to stress. Working on it and researching and found you. Yeah, I greatly appreciate that. But yeah, it's quite a few things, and I love that you mentioned that, because it's a few other pathways that we're definitely going to work on. That way you can understand what you can do and challenge yourself to get better in these areas. We're going to go through the stress pathway. We're going to learn more about creating more movement for ourselves, no matter what age we are, 50, 60, 70, however old. We're going to learn like what movement looks like for us in these different age groups, because, you know, a lot of times, you know, we see these different things and we're not able to move that way. We might be dealing with some weight issues, or, you know, maybe knee pains and joint pains and arthritis. So we're going to talk about what movement looks like for all these different conditions. But most importantly, you know, it all ties into understanding blood pressure, because it may not just be a nutritional deficiency. It could be other pathways that are tied to this, and checking your nutrition is just the tip of the iceberg. But getting deeper into it is going to help you understand your lifestyle as a whole and create this redesign your health basically to where you're living in a way that you can improve your health and not have to rely on pharmaceutical medications to deal with that blood pressure problem. Is it okay to skip meals, eat once a day while on the challenge? Yeah, that's fine. I would definitely say be more strategic about how you skip meals, because, you know, you want to do more of an intermittent fast instead of just foregoing a meal in the middle of the day, because it's not going to give you much benefits. And it's going to be more like a calorie restriction. Like you might see some weight loss or something like that. But if you be more intentional with it and do more intermittent fasting, let's say you just forego breakfast and don't eat till 12 o'clock, you know, that can give you a better fasting window and put you in this state of, potentially put you in a state of autophagy depending on how long you fast. And that's going to allow for some deep cellular cleansing to occur to rejuvenate your body as a whole as well. So when you say skipping meals, I definitely say use a strategy, intermittent fasting type of strategy. That way you can make sure that you're utilizing it properly and reap the best benefits instead of just skipping a meal and, you know, just, you know, doing it that way. So just being more focused on how you do it is going to be probably the best thing. Yes, the good poops. I hear you, Miss Marilyn. What else we got? My body really needs this. I really feel like this is the first time I've seen my blood pressure so low without taking any medication. I just needed some guidance, and I'm going to the bathroom frequently. Yeah, and one thing that's next up on our list is going to be the elimination efforts, because I always start with understanding what you want to consume to build the body up. But it's very, very important that we understand how to activate the body's elimination methods, because sometimes we may be dealing with other issues that are triggering as well. So our next challenge is going to focus mainly on understanding what we need to remove from our diet, the reason why, and what pathway that it affects. That way we can get that know-how of, okay, I need to check this, I need to check that, I need to remove this needs to be pulled out, you know, this is good, this is bad. And you get that understanding, because one thing about the internet and the world in general, there's a ton of information out there, and a lot of it goes this way, that way, this way, that way, and it can leave you in a position where you just don't do anything, or just be so confused that you don't want to do anything wrong. So our next challenge is going to put us in a position just like this, where we have our ebook, We're able to look at the information and connect the dots. But most importantly, we're able to put the work in and feel the difference in our body and see the difference in our blood pressure readings. That way, when we're connecting the dots, we can say, yeah, this is working. I need to keep sticking with this, and this is working too. I need to do this. And that way we can continue to walk the walk and hold hands and get to the bottom line, to the finish line with these things. So, you're really start to see what your body needs, because the body talks to you every day. It's up to you to be able to listen to it. You going to the bathroom more that you're doing this challenge, this is letting you know that, hey, your elimination functions are heightened, and it's pushing things out that don't necessarily need to be there. And that's part of the cleansing aspect that's going to allow for your body to detox the heavy metals, detox the excess toxins, and all the stuff that is holding on to that can be potentially contributing to blood pressure issues, the blood sugar issues, and other chronic issues that you may not even know that you're manifesting. So eliminating, increasing the eliminating functions of these different increasing your elimination functions is going to be our next thing that we're going to get into. And understanding, the ins and out of it is going to allow for you to properly detox and cleanse your body through natural measures and help you hit all those different pain points, whether it's dealing with weight, dealing with joint issues, mobility issues, blood sugar issues. It's all going to come into alignment. And the best thing about this is that you're going to be able to see it and feel it in real time and be able to understand what's going on. It's not like you're just taking something and then you're just waiting for something to occur afterwards. No, you're going to understand this process in and out. That way, even if you do fall off track and you get caught up in life, you can go back to what you've learned and tap back in and go back through the same cycle again. Because one thing about it, once you have the knowledge of how to do something, nobody can take that away from you. So gaining the knowledge and understanding the in and out of things, like going through these type of processes, through the challenges and things like that, that's going to put you in a position where you're in full control. And now you just really have to make a choice to actually get better. What else we got here? Update on my mom, please. Okay, cool. I should drag her in here, but I'm in the room. So yeah, update on my mom. She actually broke her fast. She went 14 days. She broke her fast yesterday. 14 days fasting. Blood pressure was great. She was down. She was at her highest. I don't want to lie. 20 something over 109. I think it was 210 over 109, something like that. She was sky high. We seen the video. Last time we took her pressure, she was down to 145 over 93. Blood pressure been pretty stable. I think the biggest part was she lost, I want to say about 19 pounds or so, 18, 19 pounds. And that was a great thing that's going to be very, very beneficial for her when it comes down to further managing her blood pressure and getting more control, because now you're down 20 pounds, you feel a whole lot lighter. Now her mobility issues, they're starting to improve. Now she can actually start to go for a walk, start to do those things to help create more movement for herself, to improve the other areas of elimination, to allow for her body to continue to transform and go through the process. Because one thing about fasting is this: after you fast, your body still stays in fat burning mode for a period of time after that. So with the fat burning mode, or should I say elimination mode, the body's elimination functions are still heightened. So it's still cleansing and purging and getting things out. So after breaking that fast, this is prime time for rebuilding the body, because the fast is basically breaking down old damaged cells and recycling them and creating new cells. But now, as you're recycling and creating new cells and you're getting back into, nourishing the body, providing it with the nutrients that it needs to create bigger, stronger, better cells is going to be key. So we're focusing on our nutritional aspect now. She came out of the fast, so we started with some fresh juice, and she got some fruits in her system. And we're doing fresh fruits mainly after breaking the fast, because one thing about it, if you go with heavier foods right after fasting, it can definitely tie your stomach in a knot, and you'll wish that you didn't start eating. It's as simple as that. So breaking the fast with either fresh coconut water, fresh juice, and easing into some fruits to stimulate the digestive system and get it going back over again. That's where we're at right now. She did mention that she wants to transition into a juice cleanse, and that juice cleanse will look something like 30 days. That's what I told her. Like, you want a juice cleanse, you're going to need at least 30 days to allow for you to continue with the nice transition, because there's no point in doing a 3-day or 7-day juice cleanse following a 14-day fast. You want to extend that a little bit further and allow for your body to keep moving forward, because with the juice cleanse, this is still going to allow her to suspend her digestive system to a certain degree and still replenish her body with a lot of vitamins and minerals. Even though she won't have the fiber, it'll still be a lot of vitamins and minerals that's going to help rejuvenate those cells and build them back up. That way she'll still have the energy to move around and do other things, and just continue to build on the different tactics and strategies that she's going through. But she's actually feeling really, really well. Today when she woke up, she was up before everybody, I believe. And then when I looked at her, I was like, well, you look real vibrant today, and I could see that she was a little perky today compared to like how I had seen her the last couple of days. And her energy levels are good. I can see that she's really focused on some things that she's working on. But overall, the blood pressure is down to where she can continue manage it without being in that critical stroke zone and things like that, because that's it's been real problematic for her. And right now she's at that, she's right back at a better level. I'm not going to say she's at a stable level. She's at a better, more manageable level. And now it's just really about maintaining it through lifestyle changes and building on that. And that's where our real focus is. So that's why she's here at my place now, and we're locked in. It ain't, you can't get away from me now. So you can't eat nothing that you shouldn't have because it's not here. You can't drink nothing you shouldn't have. You got to wake up on time, because I'm up and I wake the whole house up each and every day. So now she's in an environment that's conducive with her getting better and being locked in with me each and every day. It's only going to work out in the right way. So that's her update, and it's going pretty well. And I see it's Miss Farrow. I'm sorry. I thought it was, I might have misread it. I thought it was Michael. I apologize, Miss Farrow. And that's what I was mentioning about taking care of the lawn. Thank you, Miss Farrow, for correcting me. Now that I have understanding. So what are you releasing when you sweat? When you sweat, it's just another pathway of detoxification. You release sodium. You release other minerals and things that your body doesn't necessarily need. Same thing like when you urine. All right, this might be a little gross, but I'm gonna go through it. So you got number 1 and number 2. You got urine, and then you got your poop. So when you poop, you're usually releasing fiber and a whole bunch of other toxins and other buildup that's there. But when you urinate, it's usually just excessive vitamins and minerals that the body just doesn't use, along with a lot of water and other things that are caught up in this cycle. So there's a thing that's called urine therapy, where people drink their urine and things like that. I don't want to get too deep into it, but the whole ideology behind it is that you're giving your body the nutrients or the minerals that it got rid of because it didn't need, and you're just kind of just going back in it. So it's really just, when you urine, it's really just a lot of nutrients that the body just pushed out that it didn't need. And the same thing when you're sweating, it's a lot of things that the body's eliminating also, that is pushing through, whether it's different toxins or different nutrients like sodium, all that stuff. All that comes out, because one thing about sodium is this: when you have excess amount of sodium in the bloodstream, it's stored. Once you have an excessive amount of sodium in the bloodstream, the body has to remove it out of the bloodstream to prevent sodium concentration, and it ends up storing the sodium up under your skin in different areas. So now, when the body is backed up and can't eliminate it through the natural channels, through the urine, when you start sweating, it starts to come out of your pores. And that's why sometimes your sweat can taste salty, because the excess sodium that's in your body is coming out of it. So if you're someone that has very salty sweat and you can taste it and you taste the salt on it, you got a lot of just your sodium levels are high. So you should really focus on bringing your sodium levels down. And you'll see that as you reduce the sodium intake, this changes. And I remember exactly when I went salt-free, oil-free, and refined sugar-free, in a couple days, I was analyzing this and it was completely different. So, if sodium is one of those things that you have problems with, when you make these type of changes, you can definitely see it. So when you sweat, you're releasing a lot of different compounds, toxins, different excess minerals that the body's having and things like that. So, that's just part of the natural cleansing process, because the skin, again, is a organ of elimination. And even us standing right here, or me sitting right here, your skin is releasing like a small amount of moisture. Like, it's basically misting and breathing and eliminating moisture and toxins and things as we're sitting here, like just doing nothing. So we have to understand, when we're wearing tight clothing and covered our body up each and every day, the skin can't breathe the way that it naturally needs to breathe. Because remember, you're born without clothes. Like, clothes is something that's man-made, and we made that up. So you're born without clothes. So naturally, your skin wants to be free. So understanding that you need to allow your body to breathe and detoxifying that pathway is going to be very, very important. And that's the reason why I'm always in my short shorts and t-shirts and things, especially when I'm moving around outside. That way your body can breathe and loosen up, because again, you will start to notice a difference in a lot of different things. And one thing that I noticed the biggest difference through my dietary changes and my lifestyle changes is this: I don't smell the same. And I haven't worn deodorant, it's a little personal, but I haven't worn deodorant in about 3 years. And that's mainly because of the lifestyle changes that I've been able to take that I have been able to adapt. Now, mind you, my diet is probably about 90% fruits and fresh raw vegetables and things like that. So, I have a high intake of just fresh cleansing foods, and, I'm not necessarily eating too much cooked foods and things like that. So, of course, my body's going to be a lot different when it comes down to its elimination efforts. But when you do start eating more fresh foods and increasing your body's natural elimination efforts, everything that's built up inside of you will start to release, and ultimately you'll start to see a lot of those different changes, and your body's going to feel different, smell different, function different, and it's going to be all for the better. So, it's a lot of different things that comes in alignment with that. Next one. How do we send stars? I'm not too sure. It's a button somewhere in the mix of it. I apologize for not figuring that out. How long do you think is a good amount of time to stay out in the sun? 30 minutes tops is going to be the best thing, because again, it all depends on where you're at, and a lot of different variables. But listening to your body is going to be the biggest thing. When you listen to your body's going to tell you when enough is enough. And the better you're able to understand that, you'll be able to gauge what you need to actually do to move forward. Hi, I'm so glad to be here. No salad dressing, right? It's not necessarily no salad dressing. It's no processed salad dressing, Miss Karen. No processed salad dressing is going to be the main thing that we focus on, mainly because the processed salad dressings contain the salts, the oils, and the sugars that all go against the grain when it comes down to improving your cardiovascular health. So we had in our ebook, there's a few salad dressings that are there that can help you better understand how to move through this process and eliminate those processed salad dressings that can contribute to blood pressure issues and things like that. Is spring water better to drink? Water is a whole nother conversation. It's a big conversation. I don't think I want to get into that right now, but we'll definitely touch on that another area, Miss Henderson. Miss Marianne, I see you there. I am 7 years old and I started exercising in a healthy eating, active living community. Yeah, Miss Marianne, she's part of the crew, healthy eating, active living. She started exercising in a healthy eating, active living community earlier in the year, and she started with her 15 minutes every day. Now when she's doing 30 minutes every day, and she feels amazing. I got outside where there are loose dogs in my neighborhood, so I have to do a routine every night for the last 4 months, and she's down 2 clothes sizes. Yeah, Miss Marianne has been a part of the healthy eating, active living community for some time, and she has a great story. 70 years old, her numbers are amazing, and they've been consistently getting better, mainly because she's making the choice to actually continue to do better, and she's like a a walking testimony in everything that's going on with her. She lost 30 pounds through minimum effort, just basically making the lifestyle changes. Her blood pressure, she posted a reading today, I think it was 135 over 65 over 43, something in that ballpark. And that's like amazing. Like, that's there. Not even mentioned to her, like, it's time to start talking about the medications that you're on with your doctor. That way you can get better understanding, like, okay, doc, this is what I'm doing. It's time to get some action with getting off of these medications, because I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm seeing the changes in my body, my energy levels are up, my blood pressure is being controlled. I need to start seeing what it's like to tap into not being on these medications and allowing my body to do what it needs to do on its natural level. So hats off to Miss Marianne. She's been a real good trooper for the last couple months, and she's really been hammering in on just the basics of lifestyle and just tweaking it each and every week, just doing a little bit more and doing better. She went from 15 minutes of walking to 30 minutes of walking. And the main thing about that is that when you understand that the more you do, the better the body gets and adapts to what you're doing. So you're always going to get better as long as you're moving in the right direction. You're going to always see that. Even with me, I started out just running 1 mile per day, and now I could drop 7 miles easy and don't even think about it. So understanding that as you apply these changes to your lifestyle, your body's going to naturally get better and keep moving forward. Let's see. See what other questions. Here we go. I don't see any more. All of them are just pretty much thank yous. I greatly appreciate you guys for tuning in and just being supportive in the group. That it definitely works out. And here we go. How beneficial would an Epsom salt bath be during this cleanse? During this cleanse, an Epsom salt bath usually just draws and pulls things out. One thing about it is this, when it comes down to these types of Epsom salt bath and the type of detoxification that it does, we have to remember the type of effects that this has on the body. When you do an Epsom salt bath, it stimulates the body, and it pulls different toxins out in many different ways through the skin. But we also have to understand that this, to some people, this can continue to exhaust the body in different ways. So we have to be mindful that, if you're dealing with chronic issues and you're looking to, correct these problems, certain type of methods of detoxification, we just have to be more mindful about, because if you're someone that's always low on energy and you're just trying to cleanse your body and get better, you have to understand that this has the potential to exhaust you, to make you more tired and affect you in a negative way. So it's a thin line when it comes down to detoxification and certain pathways of stimulation that you may be using. So I'm not going to sit here and say Epsom salt baths are bad and you shouldn't do it, but you have to be mindful of how they work, because it's a law of duality thing. Everything that's good has some bad. Everything that's bad has some form of good. The better you understand your situation and how it can potentially affect you, it will put you in a better position to make the right decision when it comes down to it. So me personally, have I done an Epsom salt bath before? Yeah, I've done it several times, especially in my younger days when when I played sports and things like that for different reasons. But my thing is, if you're doing it, make sure you understand why you're doing it, and make sure that it's in alignment with what your actual goals are. And I'm sure that you will see some type of benefits that come from it, because most people do feel a rejuvenating effect from it, but they don't necessarily connect the dots between what's going to happen afterward, because that rejuvenation effect that you will feel after that Epsom salt bath is the opposite. You're gonna ultimately feel the opposite sooner or later, and it's directly connected to that. Can you give some examples of what you can eat in a day? I'll give us what you eat in a day. I'll save that for another time, Mr. Willie. That way, I can be more direct with you, because right now we're just kind of going over some more basic lifestyle questions that's all tied into what we're actually doing. So for those of us that are here, remember, You have the ebook, the 7-Day Fruit and Salad Challenge ebook, with a lot of the information that continue to help you tie in the vitamins and minerals and the enzymes and everything that's essential for your blood pressure. This ebook that you guys have, it's your tool, it's your sword, your sword to go in there and go to battle and understand the nutrients that are directly related to it. Most importantly, it's important to understand that not every blood pressure issue is directly related to a nutritional deficiency. It could be stress, it could be sleep, it could be your relationship, it could be your lack of movement, it could be the lack of sun, it could be a number of things. But that's what this group is all about, going through the motions and turning over every stone to make sure that you're doing everything within your power to get over this blood pressure issue. Because one thing is, most blood pressure issues is a lifestyle condition. The better you're able to control your lifestyle, the better you're going to be able to get to the root cause of this problem and eliminate the blood pressure issues and get off the pharmaceutical medication. So with that being said, I don't see any other questions there. Again, the Healthy Eating Active Living community, Healthy Eating Active Living t-shirts, they are on sale. I do appreciate you guys' support. You purchase a t-shirt, they go to a great purpose. The funds go to a great purpose of something that I'm creating for the community. And I would definitely appreciate you guys' support. So you can find the link for the t-shirts inside of the community, or the links that are right here. Purchasing a t-shirt. Again, I appreciate all of you that did so already. I look forward to seeing you guys not tomorrow, not Wednesday, but Thursday, and we'll continue with this whole process. Keep uploading your pictures, keep documenting your journey, and making sure that you're following through with this 7-day strategy. And as we get through this course, through this challenge, we'll be able to continue to connect those dots, move on to the next challenge, and continue to improve our lifestyle as a whole. So with that being said, peace and blessings. Thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you guys Thursday at 7:30.